Hi there. I'm going to show you how to assemble one of my corner tuck greeting cards. I'll be working with the butterfly card, but all of my corner tuck cards are pretty much assembled the same way. I like to start off by organizing my pieces by color, kind of like how they came off the Cricut mat, I suppose. Now that that's all done, we're ready to start assembling. I think if you're going to have any confusion in regard to assembling this card, it's going to be in regard to these three rectangles that all came off of the one piece of paper. In my case, I'm using a light green paper. You'll notice there are two of one size and one that is just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to jump right in and start with that smaller piece. I have the main card section. I've already gone ahead and folded it on the score line. This smaller rectangle is going to be this accent piece on this little portion of the front flap. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape on the back of this. I believe this Scotch brand is called Roller Dots. I might be wrong, but that's what I think it's called. Put a little there. Now when I attach this, I want to do my best. In this case, I've got a kind of a pink color there. I want to make sure I have a pretty equal pink border all the way around this top piece, which in my case is green. I didn't do a great job, but that's okay. It's homemade. That helps show that it's a homemade card. And I guess next I'll just go ahead and take another one of those rectangles. This is going to go on the inside. This is where you will write the message to the recipient. I have two-sided paper, so I do have the option of having a nice blank slate per se and just keep this white side up, but I want to keep the prettier side up. So I need to put some double-sided tape on the back. Now I'm going to fold that front piece under so that I'm only looking at this main rectangle here, because I've got to keep another equal border showing all the way around this piece. It's going to be a little bit more than a 1/2 inch border all the way around, I believe. That looks good. Okay. Next, I'm going to start doing some of the layering. Let's keep going with our rectangles here. Got the last of the light green rectangles, and I have this darker green. It's a little larger. And so that one will go on the bottom. And again, we're going to try to keep an equal border all the way around. So as I attach this, I'm going to eyeball and try to keep that equal border. That's pretty good. Next, I'll jump in with my butterfly. So we have a solid piece and this top piece that has some openness to the wing so that the pattern shows through. What I like to do when I'm layering something like in this case, you notice how thin those antennae are on the butterfly. Well, on this bottom layer, I don't need those to show, so I'm just going to rip them off. It makes the layering a bit easier when you don't have to line up those tiny pieces. So I have a glue bottle here with a precision tip. Great for making just some small glue dots. I have to remember not to put any on the antenna since I ripped off the antenna from that bottom butterfly layer. So I'm going to use the very bottom edge of the wings for the top layer and try to line them up on the bottom edge the bottom layer butterfly, and when I like it, I'm going to hold it in place with those two fingers. I see that I need to slide this up a bit, so before I push it down all the way, I'm also going to slide that up. There we go. I like that. We'll set that aside. Next, we're going to layer the decorative corner. This is the section of the card that the flap tucks in, and if you'll notice here, only the only part of the bottom layer that is really going to show is at the decorative edge. So when we glue this, we're going to make sure we line up the straight edges and the upper right corner. Okay, so again, we're lining up the straight edges and the corner. Well, I'm not doing so good here. There we go. Wipe off the extra glue since I made a bit of a mess on that one. And I think I'll keep that, and next I will attach it to the card. And again, just like we just did, we're going to match up the straight edges in the upper right corner. And what's important to note about this piece, when you add your glue, you only want to put it on the outer straight edges, nothing in the center. If I had put glue in the centerpiece there, I wouldn't be able to push this flap under. So you need to keep that whole center space nice and clear, free of your glue. So again, we're going to line it up using the straight edges and the top corner. Next, we're going to attach, I call this the frame piece. It's the part that the butterfly, in this case, will be glued to, and it also is what tucks under that corner. So what I'm going to do, I hope I can explain this in a way that makes sense. I know if you see this pink edge, it's the border on that front flap. I don't want to have any tape over here beyond that pink edge. So I'm just going to put my finger here, and notice this edge of my finger kind of lines up with that. I'm going to carefully pull that out underneath. And since I can't tape with my left hand, I'm going to switch fingers. There's probably a better way to do that. Plus, I'm not going to go all the way to the edge of my finger on that. It doesn't need to be perfect. I just need to know not to go beyond that. I like to put a few dots of glue between the tape on this piece. Okay, I'm going to bring this back over, and just as with all our other steps here, I want to do my best to keep an equal border. You can probably do it this way and just use 3 edges to line up, you know, forget about that portion of it, but I like to just go for it here and look at the complete card. Okay, that looks okay. I want to check, yeah, none of my adhesive crept past this seam, so we're good there as well. Now we're getting there. The final step is to attach the butterfly. Now you could center it right here just like this, but I find that if I do that, if I center it perfectly on this front frame piece, when I go to tuck it in, I don't like how close it gets to that corner. So I prefer to do more of an optical centering. So I tuck it in to the corner first, and then I just kind of eyeball it and see where I would like it in relation to that decorative edge there. So I'm going to add some glue to my butterfly. And we have to remember this time to go ahead and add a little bit to the antenna. We skipped it on the first step since we had torn the bottom layer off, but we want to make sure we get it here. Let me add a couple more dots to this edge. Okay, here we go. Just going to kind of see what I like here. And I'm going to go with right about there. Now, this will kind of, to help further explain what I was trying to show in regard to more of an optical center versus a true center on the frame piece, you'll notice with this wing, the edge of it, there's so much more space left to the edge of that paper than there is from the edge of this wing to the edge of the paper on the other side. But I actually kind of prefer it that way. Again, it's more of an optical center, so it's not too close to that. And you could always add a decorative item there and help take up some of that space. You could add some sequins, a little flower. But there you have it. If you have any questions, please post them below. Thank you.